Retain gang, what's poppin', man? This your boy Tay, back at y'all again. Fellas, I saw that video on my IG and I just had to do a video about it. I don't know the context of the video, but from my intuition, my 2 cents, it had to be over some cheeks, right? It just had to be. I don't see no other reason why a grown man would be hanging over a ledge in no man's sky in his drawers. And it could have been, the husband came home or the boyfriend or whatever, and this is why I tell y'all boys, man, y'all gotta gain this discipline over yourself, over your energy, because you'll end up in a situation like that in your drawers, over a ledge, way up, in ego territory, right? You high as an eagle, hiding from another man because you was getting into some cheeks that you shouldn't have been getting into. And if you would have had discipline, if that man would have had discipline, he wouldn't have been in that situation. Like off top. See, you guys, you got to understand that with certain discipline comes an energy with that discipline. So when you get on a journey to master yourself, master your energy and your lust and all these things, you will start to vibrate different, right? Your energy will be different. So with that being said, it's going to be certain things that you attract into your life and certain things you don't attract into your life. You won't attract a situation like that, being on retention or just trying to master yourself anyway. Because any man with morals and principles for himself will not be seen like that, in that light. That's embarrassing. Not only is it embarrassing, but it's disrespectful to yourself. Why would you disrespect yourself like that and put yourself in a situation like that? Right? See, when you try to discipline yourself, you're going to be protected from certain situations like that. Dealing with he might not have knew that she had a boyfriend or was married. You know what I'm saying? So I can't just fault him for that. I don't know the situation, but you will be protected from situations like that anyway, because you would have felt that something wasn't right. You would have felt the energy, and the vibes, and you would have stayed away from that situation altogether. This is why it's better to get to know somebody first before you try to lay down with them. Right? All these one night stands and things like that, man, that ain't gonna cut it for you. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who you laying down with. You don't know what that energy is gonna bring about. That situation. You don't know what's gonna be the cause of that situation. And I tell you guys, this flesh, this body, it desires pleasure. So it'll go after that pleasure. It'll want to feed off that pleasure by any means necessary. And when you let this symbiote, this vehicle lead and decide and make decisions for you, you're going to end up in a situation like that. It's going to put you in a situation that's going to be disastrous for you. The flesh doesn't have your well-being at its top priority. It's just like a fiend or an addict. When they need that hit and that dose, they're going to try to get that by any means necessary. No matter how destructive it will be to them, they're going to find a way. This body's going to find a way to satisfy its pleasure by any means necessary. This flesh is going to satisfy its pleasure by any means necessary, no matter how destructive or no matter what situation it might put you in the long run. See, this is why we discipline ourselves. It ain't just about going how many days you can go, but it's about gaining discipline over yourself. You feel what I'm saying? As a man, it is very important for you to not be thinking with the head down there, but with the head up here in the mind. I tell y'all boys all the time, man. Purpose over pleasure. Goals over guts. Right? Goals over guts, man. Because if you busy, you keeping yourself occupied with your goals and trying to satisfy your pleasure or satisfy your purpose, getting pleasure from your purpose, you're not going to be worried. Like, you're not even going to meet a female or a woman that's going to put you in a situation like that in the first place. Right? Because you're vibrating on a different level. Yeah, you will still attract females like that. That's, Jezebel or lustful or whatever you want to call them. But you're going to sway away from that energy because you can feel the vibes. You can feel the Jezebel energy coming off of that person. But you're going to be at a point where you're not operating from your lust. So now you actually get to know somebody and get to talk to them and see what they're about up here. Right? Guys, understand this. Laying down with a woman, getting the cheeks, that's a result of a connection. Right? That's a byproduct of having a connection with somebody. It's not the other way around. See, people nowadays, they just want to get the guts, get the cheeks, but you don't have no connection with that person. So then it just ends up being a situation. This is why a lot of guys end up in crazy situations in their life. We've been taught wrong growing up. I grew up watching Korn. My friends did as well. Like, especially in college, man, we watched Korn like it was football or basketball, bro. We knew all the stars. Like, for real. And that was implanted in our mind of like what the reality of being with the woman was. That's what we thought. Because nobody told us different. When you operate from that frequency, you're going to end up in situations. Bad situations. And that's what so many men get caught up in today. Because they operating from that frequency. So when we say discipline yourself and get on retention, we're not talking about just the days, how many days you can go. It's not a competition. We're talking about getting yourself right. Getting yourself under control, man, and taming that beast inside of you. So that you're not making dumb decisions based off of temporary pleasure. A night full of pleasure can bring a lifetime full of pain. Don't get yourself in a situation where you flying with the birds, hanging with the eagles, hanging off a ledge in your drawers, sitting there wondering what happened. What trying to figure out how you got to this point in your life. See, fellas, you got to get respect for yourself. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to gain more self-respect, more self-awareness, more control over yourself. So now when you're out in the world, you're not so easily swayed by this energy, this situation, this girl, these group of people. You have your own principles. You have your own foundation that you stand on and that you walk by. See, because anybody who lacks discipline, they lack self-control. And when you lack self-control, you can't be trusted. I don't trust somebody who has no self-control, no discipline, because you're liable to do anything. You can be easily controlled. You can't even trust yourself if you operating on that frequency. So guys, you got to understand it's bigger than just attraction. It's bigger than just going 1,000 days. What are you learning and how are you growing on your journey? Or are you still doing the same things over and over and over again? Are you still backtracking? Going back doing the same toxic habits you've been doing? Is that what you're doing? Or are you really trying to move forward and better yourself? Ask yourself these questions. I did a consultation with a guy a few days ago, and he was just saying he didn't know, he was on a long streak and he relapsed and he didn't know like what happened. He can't get back on that streak again. And I basically told him, man, you got to remember what you did and how you felt when you was on that streak. What were some of the things that you did? What was your lifestyle like? And then immediately after I told him that, a light bulb went off in his head. And he realized, okay, I know what I need to do now. I know how I felt now because now I remember. He tapped into that frequency that he had on that streak, and it brought back those memories. It brought back that energy. So it's very important that you're making sure that you're doing what you need to do every single day, man. You can't be slacking off. If you really, really, really want to see the best results, you cannot slack off. That's what discipline is. Every single day, I'm on the same regimen. I'm on the same routine that's going to better me. I'm locked in. I'm clocked in. And we're going to get it. And that's how you got to be. Don't put yourself in a life or death situation like this guy. You know what I'm saying? One false move, one slip of the foot, lost grip, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Over some cheeks. All over a few minutes of pleasure. Over some cheeks that ain't even yours, apparently, if you got to hide from it. Fellas, we got to wake up, man. We can't keep moving like this. Men are becoming so weak nowadays over pleasure. And that's supposed to be a man's main focus, is to not rely on pleasure. Right? That's why we do things that are hard, like in the weight room. That weight room is not pleasurable. It's painful. So we're in there to build that strength, to become warriors. That's why we take cold showers, because it's painful. But pain brings strength. It makes you stronger. And if you can do that every single day, you're getting stronger and stronger and stronger.